Yes, guys, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. And tomorrow night at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea take on Arsenal in the London derby. And it'll be the first of two London derbies this week, with also playing West Ham on Sunday. And for the Blues, it's a chance to continue our good form. 3 wins on the bounce now with Southampton, Real Madrid, and obviously beating Palace in the FA Cup semi-finals to book our 3rd consecutive final. So it's going to be a good opportunity to keep that momentum going. Unfortunately, won't be a full house at Stamford Bridge. It'll be the first game where it'll be season ticket holders only attending. Who knows what difference that might make. But plenty to get stuck into. And I'm delighted to be joined by Arsenal fan Luke Webb. Webby, welcome back to the channel, mate. Thanks for your time, as always. Obviously, we last spoke in January. Things were going quite well then. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the window. Fast forward sort of 3-4 months, Arsenal had been in the driving seat for the top 4, still in contention, but could have been clear by now. 3 defeats on the bounce to Palace, Brighton and Southampton with only 1 goal scored. How are you assessing things at the moment? Obviously, not a good run of form. Top 4 still on, but, obviously you've let Spurs back in and even let Man United back in as well.
Yeah, it's an odd one, because if we'd have spoken just before the international break, then it would have been a really positive conversation. Arsenal were about as good a form team in Europe. The team was functioning well. We felt like we could beat anyone. But yeah, couple of weeks, 3 games later, and it's literally the complete opposite. I suppose that's how competitive the Premier League is now. And I don't know, last 3 games have obviously been unbelievably disappointing. Like, you lose to Palace, Brighton and Southampton. If you're trying to get Champions League, you can't do that. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, we've underachieved massively the last 3 games, 0 points from 9. And maybe that comes after a period between January and the international break where maybe we were overachieving a bit, and this has kind of brought us back down to earth. Now, I'm sure we'll have a chat around reasons why, injuries definitely being the main reason that have contributed to those results. But yeah, not ideal at this point in time. Tough fixtures, Stamford Bridge, got to go to Spurs, got to go to West Ham, got to play United at home. So tough fixtures, and I think top 4 will be a push for us now.
Are you of the opinion that I've seen people talking, I probably share the same opinion, that obviously back-to-back 8th place finishes, to even be in contention for the top 4 this season, you would look at it as a massive improvement. But having said that, I guess it's almost this season perhaps not be unique in the sense that, Arsenal probably at this stage of the Mikel Arteta project, whether you believe in it or not, 3 years in, probably weren't thinking top 4, really. But this opportunity's presented itself. You've been in a situation where you had no European football at all. Obviously out of the FA Cup in the 3rd round. Obviously League Cup semis went out, but so you've kind of been playing once a week, give or take, pretty much the whole season. Do you worry that if you don't get into the top 4 this season, do you think this could be maybe another 3, 4, 5 years, because Spurs will have Conte in a full season? United under Eric Ten Hag, you'd imagine, would be better again. Maybe Leicester might come back into the mix, maybe West Ham as well. Do you think this is an opportunity that Arsenal can't really afford to mess up, even though potentially it might have come maybe a season or 2 too early in the project as such?
Yeah, I think you're right. If you had said at the beginning of the season, I think most Arsenal fans said that just getting back into the Europa League would have been the aim, so top 6. But yeah, like you said, when an opportunity arises, you've got to take it with both hands, because so many teams are so competitive now for those top 4 slots. Yeah, when you get your chance, you got to grasp it, and it looks like we've let that slip through our grasp recently. I don't think if we don't get top 4, it's like it puts us massively back and in the process. I think every season's new. There's always going to be teams that are competitive, and ultimately, I still believe in Arteta and what he's done. I think he's still continuing to do a really good job at the club, and I think it would be a setback, but I don't think it would be the end of the road. It's really, as you said, it's really hard to predict what's going to happen next season with United, with Leicester, with clubs like that. But I would think with Arteta will be in the mix. But it would be a blow psychologically for the players, some of the young players as well. I think it would be a blow because they've been on such a high and they've been brought back down to earth so quickly. But yeah, I think I mentioned it to you before. I think we overachieved for a while, perhaps, on that run. And now, yeah, we've massively underachieved. And it's probably going to leave us there or where we expected the club to be. If we miss out on Europa League, because you've talked about missing out on Champions League, mate, I'm looking at Europa League. Like, I'm not looking up now, I'm looking down. If we miss out on Europa League, then the answer to your question is yes, it'd be awful. I think Europa League is we've got to get that. It'd be awful if we missed out on Europa League from the position we've been in. And like you said, playing once a week, etc. That would be terrible. Don't want to be in the Conference League. Champions League, not so much. So yeah, I'm looking down, to be honest, at 6th place and want to make sure we secure that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, obviously, hindsight's a great thing, mate. But kind of looking back now, do you think it was a mistake on the club's behalf not to invest in January window? I know you got rid of a lot of players, perhaps Deadwood, obviously not in Aubameyang's case, but Aubameyang was moved on. Obviously, Maitland-Niles was out on loan. Players left that, could fill gaps in the squad. And now that you've kind of picked up 1 or 2 injuries, everything's almost going to shit. Like, do you think you've missed... Like, I know it's obviously easy to look back, but do you think it was a missed opportunity not to get some bodies in the door in January? I know Arsenal tried for a forward. I don't know how serious they were with Dusan Vlahovic, but they were obviously interested, and I don't know if a bid went in or not. But do you think that was a missed opportunity and something that, could regret come the end of the season?
Yeah, I think Vlahovic was obviously the number one option. Arsenal, like it's been confirmed, went in heavy for him and obviously missed out on him. I think the most interesting point is we didn't then pursue another striker, because if you look now, we could have gone for a plan B. We could have gone, okay, we didn't get our plan A. We can do that in the summer, but let's get the plan B striker. Almost like how Giroud was for Chelsea for a while. Yeah. It's hard to think that we couldn't have got that in January. Like there must have been some players available. Because Lacazette hasn't scored the goals and Nketiah hasn't scored the goals, and that's a major problem why we've dropped off the last 3 games in particular. For example, you look at, like, we played Southampton on the weekend, and like you kind of think all the strikers they had available, you would want to chuck them on. Like for us, we don't even have that option at the moment. Like Lacazette just can't score at all. And Nketiah puts himself about a bit, but isn't scoring goals. And we're trying to manufacture, like, can we play Smith Rowe up front? Should we move Martinelli in the middle? Like, you have to think in January there must have been a plan B available that we could have gone for. The club decided not to. The club decided to only focus on options they really wanted in Vlahovic, and if they didn't get him. And yeah, we've probably suffered a bit. Again, it's a bit reactionary now because the last 3 games we've lost, we probably shouldn't have lost all of them for sure. We shouldn't have come away with 0 points from 9, and a lot of it, like you've said, is down to the lack of composure and clinicalness in front of goal. So yeah, if we would have signed a backup striker in January, we'd have probably been a bit better off, but it's easy with hindsight.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on a few players quickly, mate. Obviously, you touched on Lacazette. He's not been getting the goals at all. He's got 1 or 2 this calendar year. Maybe he hasn't scored for God knows how long. What is obviously out of contract? I doubt he's going to be offered a new contract. He'll probably be moving on. What have you made of his comments over the last few days about the fact he's going to leave the club to play Champions League? He's been in contact with Lyon, etc. Obviously, I think he was missing with COVID, I heard, in some of the last games. But I mean, what have you made of those comments, and how have they gone down with the Arsenal fans?
Yeah, like, it's pretty bad timing. I mean, it's not like he did the interview after the Southampton game and was like to his agent, "Oh, get these out. I want to play Champions League." He obviously done the interview a few weeks back with the French channel who it was with, and it might have got taken a bit exaggerated. But yeah, weird comments. Like, not the right time to be saying that kind of stuff. Like, the geezer's scored one open play goal for God knows how long. Like just an really odd timing. Like I don't understand. Sometimes surely his agent can turn around and say, "Oh, actually, we'd probably better wait to put that article out after you've in a terrible run of form and Arsenal have lost 3 in a row." It doesn't bother me too much. Like Lacazette isn't the future of the club, and as I said, I don't think he's not doing it to spite Arsenal fans. But just pretty poor professionalism from his whole party. Probably not from him himself, but whoever advises him, like to stick that out after we've just lost 3 in a row. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not the best. We don't need to talk to me about interviews and timing of stuff going out with players. Yeah, because it's not ideal. But strange comments. Obviously, he's going to be moving on in the summer. Eddie Nketiah, another one. He said he tries hard, but isn't scored a Premier League goal this season. That clearly that isn't the answer. I think he's out of contract as well. He'll be moved on. I wanted to talk about Nicola Pepe. What's happened to him? Obviously coming for big money from Lille a few years ago, £75 million. We haven't really we've seen glimpses from him, but this season particularly, I don't know if he's been injured for parts of it. He seems bang out of favour completely. And for the amount of money spent by the club on him, does that seem like a strange one to you? Are you surprised he's barely featuring at the moment?
Yeah, it dates back to when we signed him. And Emery wanted Wilf Zaha instead. And he's come out and he's publicly said that, like since he left Arsenal, he said he wanted to sign Zaha as our right-sided attacker. We got Pepe, obviously, for club record fee. And it just feels like ever since he's not been like valued by the managers. Emery wanted a different player and Arteta inherited him and clearly doesn't trust him. Like, no matter what you think of Pepe, the guy's got ability, the guy can score goals, the guy's exceptionally talented footballer. But Arteta doesn't trust him. And that's been clear from day one. Like, he struggles even to get minutes now. And it's... I've seen Pepe do some fantastic things at Arsenal. But in a team that's struggling for goals... it is almost beyond belief that he can't even really get in the team or get on the pitch. And as I said, I think that boils down to the fact that our current manager, Arteta, inherited him and doesn't see him as part of the plan. So I'm sure he'll be moved on, but we're not going to get, we're going to make a substantial loss on that piece of transfer business. Obviously, 72 million. I mean, you'd be lucky if you got around. Yeah, if you got, I was just about to say, if you got 20 to 30 million for him now, you'd probably bite the hand off and move it on, which is such a shame because he was like a marquee signing. Also, so many clubs were in for him when we got him.
Yeah,
even Liverpool wanted him, and he came to Arsenal. And yeah, I just feel like, I don't know. I don't know what you think. I feel like if you put him in that Liverpool team, I kind of feel like Klopp's
Klopp's getting a lot more out of him for sure. I reckon so. But I mean, before we move on to the game itself, mate, just very briefly wanted to talk about Tomiyasu quickly. You've probably seen the rumours and whatnot. Obviously, been out with a calf injury supposedly. I mean, we're not physios or medical experts by any means, but 2.5 months or so seems a long time to be out with a calf injury. Now, I don't know if people are just making stuff up, but obviously you would have seen it. I've seen it on socials that obviously a while back it was news that an Arsenal player had allegedly kind of broken the betting rules. And then I'm saying today, well, not today, but I've looked at it and people saying that it potentially Tomiyasu, and that's why we've not seen him. He's not been posting anything on his socials, etc. We chatted a little bit briefly about it before we come on. What are your thoughts on that whole thing?
I mean, my thought, I don't buy it at all. Tommy, I think the club rushed him back in the FA, the League Cup. Sorry, the club rushed him back in the second leg of the League Cup semi, and he was so out of sorts, and that aggravated it. And I think, I don't know if this is 100% true, but I'm pretty sure he got named on the bench in a game in February. And I think I read that the club can't even, you're not allowed to name him in the squad if he's ineligible to play. So if he was being criminally investigated or whatever. So I mean, it's probably just. I think it's just.
Could you imagine though?
But on Tomiyasu, like God, we've missed him.
Yeah,
like, what a player! He was like so good up until Christmas, and then I mean Cedric. Actually, to be fair, Cedric done all right until the international break. I don't think Cedric is the reason we've dropped off, but he's obviously not Tomiyasu's level, and it hasn't helped.
No, for sure. Obviously, 3 defeats, as we said, on the spin. Entering a tough run of fixtures now. You mentioned it. Chelsea tomorrow night. You've got Spurs coming up. Man United coming up. Trips to West Ham as well. It doesn't get any easier. Obviously, Arsenal, fair play, did the double up over us last season. Beat us at the Emirates and beat us at Stamford Bridge as well. Obviously, we won 2-0 at the Emirates in the corresponding fixture right at the start of the season, with Romelu Lukaku looking like an absolutely unbelievable signing, and how things have changed since then. Mate, what do you think Arsenal need to do differently tomorrow from the last 3 games, definitely, to try and get a result against the Chelsea side that at the moment are in pretty good form? 3 wins on the spin, an FA Cup final, a great performance in Madrid, looking to consolidate that 3rd place. What do you think Arsenal need to do to have any chance of getting anything from tomorrow?
Yeah, well, the problem, I think the problem in the Brighton game after the Palace defeat was that Arteta obviously moved Xhaka to left back, and then we had literally in the middle of the park, Lokonga just wasn't up to it on his own. And then for the Southampton game, he moved Xhaka back into the middle and Tavares at left back. So you've got an actual left back, and you've got our second best central midfielder in midfield while we're missing Partey, our best midfielder. So Xhaka has to play in the middle. No matter what you think of him, he is our second best midfielder and he has to be there. And Tavares played okay, actually, at Southampton. So him at left back, he needs to continue to have a good game. I guess the question is, where's the goals coming from? You know, at the moment, where I can't. We did create chances against Southampton. Saka had a really good chance. Forster had a really good game. So if we can create that volume of chances, you hope just by law of football that we can start scoring goals. But it's a serious problem, the lack of goals at the moment. As I said to you before, the performance against Southampton was better, and it probably didn't justify losing the game. Not that matters in the Premier League, but we probably didn't deserve to lose. Against Brighton, we certainly did deserve to lose. Palace, a bit more 50-50, didn't defend great. But it's hard to go in with too much confidence with the lack of goals, missing our 2 or 3 of our most important players, and against a Chelsea team that are, as you said, in pretty good form. We're going to have to pull something out of the bag, I think, to get anything tomorrow.
I mean, from a Chelsea perspective, I mean, I look at Arsenal's team and think, okay, defensively, not bad, but the injuries to Tierney and Tomiyasu are obviously, not ideal, and it certainly weakens them a lot. And you'd much rather, if you're a wide player from Chelsea, be up against the likes of Cedric and Tavares, no disrespect to them, rather than Tierney and what's his name now? I've forgotten. Tomiyasu. Yeah. But then obviously from a forward perspective, Arsenal, yes, you said Lacazette not in the goals and Nketiah not in the goals. Whether either of those will start tomorrow, I'm not sure. But I look at it and think Smith Rowe, good player. Form's dropped off a little bit. But that happens with young players. It does happen. He's had a good season up to date, but things have dropped off a little bit. I think Martinelli's a great player. He seems to be in and out of the side. Odegaard's doing well. But I think Saka is probably the main man for Arsenal. That if Chelsea can keep Saka quiet, then should be able to keep the attack reasonably quiet. I mean, what have you made of kind of the youngsters, Smith Rowe and Saka in particular? Obviously, Saka probably having a slightly better season than Smith Rowe, but the form has tailed off a little bit. I know it's to be expected, but I mean, is that a concern for you, particularly with there being not many goals in the side at the moment? Their contributions are even more crucial now.
Yeah, and we're too reliant on them basically. I don't think their form drop off concerns me because they're so young and they've been so good. Like Saka and Smith Rowe, Martinelli and Odegaard have been unbelievable for the majority of this season, and I don't think there's many teams in Europe that wouldn't want to sign any one of those 4 players, really. They're all young, full of potential, full of quality. I think the problem lies in the fact that the senior players haven't helped them out. And we haven't been able to lean on senior players to support them. And it has very much been, if Saka has an off day, if Smith Rowe and Martinelli aren't there, if Odegaard's slightly off the pace, then we've got no chance. And I guess that's a testament to how good they are. They're at that level now that they're so important to the team. But I wouldn't be concerned. I'm not concerned about their form at all, really. It's what's going on around them. And like you said, the positive thing is with those guys in the team, they've got the capability to score goals out of nothing. They're top players. So as long as they're on the pitch, you've got a chance. But yeah, it can't be. Project Youth is great and going with youngsters is great. But the Premier League, every team in the Premier League has to have that kind of experience in the side to keep them going, don't they?
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. I think you summed it up perfectly. It's not that it's more been the experienced pros at Arsenal that have been letting the side down rather than the younger players. And every side's got that. You need that kind of blend of exciting youth players blended in with experienced pros as well to get the balance right. And it's probably not quite there at Arsenal. And over-reliance on the youngsters and the senior pros kind of, basically letting the side down, not being good enough. Obviously, from a Chelsea perspective, Rebby, just what worries you most about Chelsea tomorrow night? What things scare you? See, right, Arsenal, Chelsea tomorrow. Thinking what do we need to do? Obviously, Timo Werner in some great form, which surprising thing to say, but he should be starting tomorrow night. Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, etc. Obviously, Kovacic is injured, but who scares you most on the Chelsea side? Who do Arsenal need to be keeping quiet, in your opinion?
Havertz and James.
Yeah.
Havertz and James. Obviously. Werner's obviously hit good form.
Yeah.
The thing about Werner is his pace.
Yeah, he's rapid.
He's rapid, isn't he?
He's rapid, mate.
Because he had such a poor start to his Chelsea career, I didn't realise the guy's absolutely rapid. So he can stretch fences, but yeah, James is obviously such a threat, isn't he? He's when he's fit, his output for goals and assists is just a joke for right back, isn't it? And Havertz is such a good player. Again, he had a bit of a quiet start when he first came and adapted in the Premier League, but since then he's absolutely exceptional. So they're the two. I'd probably be a bit concerned about, James up against Tavares going down the up your right hand side, our left hand side. Just not, as I said, no disrespect to Nuno Tavares. He's a young player and he's done some good things this season, but that's a serious challenge. He's not played anywhere near enough football to be up to the speed of facing arguably the best attacking right back in the league alongside Trent. So that's an area that I'm sure Chelsea will look and probably will have success in. And then it's how well can we? Well, firstly, ideally you want to block the crosses and the output from James, but then how effective can Gabriel and Ben White deal with his threat when he's pinging balls in the box? But Havertz and James, they're fantastic players, aren't they? They're brilliant.
Yeah, no, they've done really well. Reece James has been phenomenal. I mean, to be honest, the chance that Reece James could play at right centre-back anywhere in the back three, we might have Azpilicueta at right wing. Yeah, Reece James has been playing right side of a three for the last couple of games. Played there against Southampton, played there against Real Madrid, played there against Palace on the weekend. Tuchel in the presser today saying that actually, the reason why he's been playing James in right centre-back is because since he's been coming back from injury, it's not as physically taxing playing centre-back as it is playing wing-back. Yeah. So he's kind of been easing him back in because he's obviously had injury problems over the season. But to have a guy that is so good in two different positions is ideal, really. So, I mean, there's a chance we might see Loftus-Cheek at right wing-back with Reece James in a right centre-back, or we might just see Azpilicueta continue there as well, potentially. But a fantastic player. I mean, before we get into a bit of team news, Matt, I just wanted to run through a couple of Chelsea things. Obviously, Thomas Tuchel today confirming that Ben Chilwell's still out, Callum Hudson-Odoi's still out, Romelu Lukaku in contention to start. Kovacic obviously picked up an injury in the FA Cup semi-final. He'll be out, ligament injury in the ankle. Said only 2 weeks. I mean, I'm not a medical expert, but 2 weeks for a ligament injury doesn't seem very long. But as long as he's fit for the FA Cup final, that's going to be that is going to be the main thing. Before we get into the teams, Webby, what do you think tomorrow night for Arsenal? Is an advantage having like limited attendance at Stamford Bridge, or that sort of thing doesn't really matter?
I don't think it matters. There's going to be enough Chelsea fans there. I mean, our away support is fantastic and is every game, and it will continue to be. But yeah, it's not like it was behind closed doors, is it? I don't think it will play too much of a part at all.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be all right. And there's a positive update on Ben Chilwell's return as well. Tuchel was saying, we won't rush it. It'll be Ben Chilwell's now kind of in a transition, so he's going to join academy training to train with them, and then that's going to be the next step for him. So a positive update there on Ben Chilwell's fitness. Mate, we're going to get into the lineups now. I'm just going to bring one up on the screen for Arsenal. I just want you to give me your thoughts on what team you'd like to see put out tomorrow night. Obviously, I presume in goal, mate, you'd like to go with obviously be Aaron Ramsdale. He's done very well, so he'll continue. Mate, I've got this as a 4-2-3-1. I mean, is that what you'd expect Arsenal to play tomorrow night?
I actually think he might match Chelsea and play
5 at the back.
Well, play 3-4-3. So I think. Yeah, 3 centre backs.
Let me just set that. Let me just change that. So you're going to go 3-4-3, yeah?
Yeah, I mean whether he'll do this or not, I don't know. But I think it'd be good just to match Chelsea because. So then you've got. Do you want me to go through it?
Yeah, mate. So back three. I presume you're putting Ben White in the middle or to left or right?
Yeah, White in the middle. Gabriel on the left and Holding on the right. You could even go. Holding has come on and played in the middle a bit. I'm not sure. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen them start as a 3, so I'm not sure whether Holding or White would play on the right. But either or, Gabriel White. Holding comes into the team.
Yeah, to be fair, I have seen Arteta do that at times, isn't he? Like particularly against big side, he has gone 5 at the back. I think he's done it against Liverpool before. I think he's done it against Man United maybe as well. Like he does tend to match teams up sometimes, and particularly being away from home, there is a chance it could be 3 at the back. Wing backs, then are you continuing with Tavares and Cedric?
Yeah, it has to be really. They're the options. Yeah,
I mean, obviously Tierney being out is a big blow, isn't it?
Yeah, he has mentioned that Tomiyasu has got a chance, but I don't think he'll play.
Yeah,
and that's why I think he might make it. He might go down this route just to tactically, make it easier and match Chelsea.
Yeah, for sure. Midfield then, mate. Thomas Partey's still injured, isn't he? So what? Granit Xhaka is obviously going to have to be one of them.
Yeah, it'll be Xhaka and Lokonga in there.
Yeah, what have you made of Lokonga? Started quite promisingly. He's obviously he's a young player. He's going to be one for the future. Do you think he's done well so far?
Yeah, I think he's been really good. Again, I don't think Thomas Partey plays as the formation we played with 4 at the back. Xhaka's been playing as an advanced left-sided midfielder, and Partey's basically played the base midfield on his own.
Yeah,
and just run it. And Partey is that good; he can do that. We then asked Lokonga to do that, and Lokonga's he had one season of football, senior football, and he's done really well. And he's clearly a really good player. And I think they see him as the Partey long-term replacement, but he's not there yet, is he? He's too young, too inexperienced. So I think he's done really well in his own right. But yeah, he's been asked to do a job and come into a team that's not fully functioning anyway, and he's obviously suffered from that a bit.
Mate, moving into the front 3 then, what are you expecting there? Expecting Martin Odegaard to be part of that? Do you think Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Lacazette, and Nketiah? What makeup do you think you're going with up top?
I think if we go in this formation, as I said, I might be completely wrong, mate. He might.
Yeah, that's all right, mate. It's what you'd go with, yeah.
He might stick with 4 at the back, but he's done this before, like you said, and I think a few Arsenal fans have suggested this as well. The front 3 will be Saka. I would go
on the right hand side.
Yeah, Saka on the right is obviously picks himself.
Yeah.
Martinelli on the left because with the extra defender in the team, you need Martinelli's pace. And then I mean Lacazette, he came out and said today that he might play, he might not. I'd probably suggest he hasn't if he has been off with COVID. it might be a bit quick to rush him back. So I'd probably imagine Nketiah would start again.
So no place for Smith Rowe in this team for you tomorrow night?
No, so something we've suffered from as well is we haven't had players to bring off the bench, right? We've been obviously trying to going for a goal against Brighton, whatever, Palace, Southampton, and the bodies off the bench just haven't been up to standard to get goals. So by adding this extra defender in and matching Chelsea, what it also gives you the beauty of is Odegaard and Smith Rowe not in the starting 11. But that means if you can stay in the game and play well up to 50, 60 minutes, you can then bring these players on of quality. And again, it probably seems crazy to name a team without Martin Odegaard in it. But if you're playing this formation, he probably doesn't play in it. And Odegaard's form has dropped off the last 3 games. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, he might stick to 4-2-3-1, the formation we have played. In which case the bodies would be different. But this is probably a mixture of what I would go with / what he might do tactically to try and get something out of the game.
I mean, mate, I've seen a lot of people say it, a lot of Arsenal fans say it as well. What are you a fan of Martinelli playing down the middle, or do you think it's got to be on that left side?
Yeah, we haven't seen it too much. I think he's good enough to do it. Like, he's a killer finisher. He's got pace. But he's been so threatening off the left. And the only reason we're having that conversation is because our striker, Lacazette, has not scored goals. If you've got a striker scoring a goal every other game, or even a goal every 3 games, then we wouldn't even be having the conversation. We've had to bring that up because our striker's been so poor scoring goals. So I think Martinelli's got the capability to do it. Don't necessarily think he should do it. You look at the success of players like Salah, Son in the Premier League, and I see him in that kind of mould of player. They don't play through the middle; they play with someone else there. So the ideal solution would be to have a top quality striker in the middle, and then Martinelli continue to play off the left with Saka on the right. But
no, for sure. I mean, look, it's not bad. You know, obviously, teams on paper, it's not one. We all know that Arsenal can definitely come and could cause problems at the Bridge. But I'm just going to quickly ask where we would go with for the Arsenal lineup. I'm just going to quickly bring a Chelsea one up on screen and just run through that, and then we'll round out with some score predictions. So, I think with Chelsea, I mean, there's a chance we could play a back 4. I'm probably going to go with the standard tried and tested. It'll be Edouard Mendy in goal. Not really too much to say about that. I mean, obviously, undisputed number 1 at Chelsea, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Back 3, Rudiger, I think, will continue to play. He seems to play whenever he's fit. So Rudiger, Thiago Silva, having been on the bench in the FA Cup semi-final, will definitely play. And then it's just a case of this last one. It's whether he plays Reece James at right wing back, which I'm sure whether you'd rather him play in a back 3 rather than on the wing back role. Back 3, so it gives him a chance to get into midfield, but he's not as effective going forward as it would be in the wing back role. It's a tough one to call. I don't know if I play him here or playing wing back. What I'm probably going to do, I'm going to continue with Reece James at right centre back. I mean, this could be wrong, but that's what I'd go. I'll go Reece James at right centre back. Obviously, Marcus Alonso is definitely going to play left wing back because we haven't really got anyone else to go there. Right wing back is basically, for me, I'm going to go with Azpilicueta. And then in midfield, I think Jorginho had a stinker in the FA Cup semi-final. Not great from him at all. I know Tuchel's come out and praised him in a press conference today as a player in general, but yeah, I'm going to go Kante. And obviously, Kante started on the bench as well in that semi-final. Kovacic missing from midfield is a problem, so I'm going to go with the Lewisham Ballack, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, in decent form now, so we'll go with him. Loftus-Cheek in the middle. Again, there's a chance he might play right wing back, but I think it'd be better to see him in the midfield too. And then up front, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Timo Werner is definitely starting. I didn't think I'd be saying that. Werner, and then Mason Mount on that right-hand side is having a phenomenal season. And then up front, I would go Kai Havertz, but Tuchel's saying that, there's a chance that Lukaku could start. He's got about 60 minutes in him. Havertz played a lot of football recently. I wouldn't be surprised if Lukaku did actually start this game tomorrow night. Havertz can't play every game. We've got some big games coming up. We've got West Ham Sunday. We've got United next Thursday. Got Everton next week as well. There's a lot of games that Havertz needs to be fresh for. And, if Lukaku's fit to play 60 minutes, I think I'm going to go with him through the middle. But, he's basically got 6 weeks to save his Chelsea career, really, because it's just, for whatever reason, it's just not happened. I'm prepared to sort of take the hit on it that, start the season, myself, many other Chelsea fans as well, Lukaku's going to score the goals, we're going to win the league. And it hasn't quite worked out like that. But yeah, that's the lineup I'll go with tomorrow night. But it could be a couple of changes. We could see a back four maybe, but I think that's more than enough to get the 3 points. And we need to keep this good run of form going. Webby, all that remains then really, mate, is 2 questions for you. First one, will Arsenal make the top 4 come the end of the season? And the second one is score prediction for tomorrow night.
Yeah, just quickly, it's so interesting what you're saying there about how you're like, oh, should Havertz play or not?
Yeah.
And then you look, I think of our situation where we're desperate for goals, and you're there thinking, well, should we pick Kai Havertz, who's and that just shows, the difference of where we're at. It's crazy, really. But anyway, top 4, no, I don't.
You're going to miss out.
I don't think. I think 3 games in a row, lost 3 games in a row without our most important player Party and a couple of others. I don't think it will happen. I think we'll get top 6, not top 4.
Yeah.
And score prediction. I mean, I can't really say we're not going to get top 4, but we're going to beat.
Yeah.
Because I think if we go and beat you tomorrow, then I'll probably say we could get top 4.
Yeah.
So I'll probably, I've said no to top 4, so I've probably got to say we'll lose, but I'm going to go win 3-1.
3-1, mate. If Arsenal beat us 3-1 tomorrow night,
you see my point. I'll always back Arsenal.
Yeah, of course, mate. I'm the same. It's so hard to back against your team winning. But
if I'm being realistic, I don't think we'll get top 4, and I think tomorrow will be obviously another contributor to that. If we did go to the Bridge and win tomorrow, then all of a sudden you're like, oh God, we can get top 4.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess a more frustrating thing will be the fact that losing to Palace, Brighton and Southampton all in a row is even more annoying when you see the games you've got coming up. Chelsea, Tottenham. I know Man United are dog shit, but you still got them. West Ham as well. It's teams all in and around there. And you could have done with 7 or 9 points on the board, because the chances are you're probably not going to beat all of those teams. But then Arsenal are a strange side. They could quite feasibly go and win 3 or 4 of those games. So it just depends. But from my perspective, I think, obviously not going to discount Arsenal by any means, but I think it's a game that we should be winning. So I'm probably going to go with a 2-0 for the Blues, and to carry on our good form heading into a couple of big games next week. But yeah, mate, thank you so much for your time as always. Guys, make sure you follow Webby on Twitter. I've linked it in the video description below. So check it. Make sure you go over there, give him a follow. Guys, as always, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for getting involved in the chat. Make sure you smash a like on the video, and please do click that subscribe button. I really appreciate all of your support. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll catch you in the match reaction to the game tomorrow night or Thursday. So stay tuned for that one. As always, up the Chelsea, and catch you soon.